Actually, I think we're ready to start, and I'll just guide the conversation into it.
Is it a transformation to talk about, like, what was I about to say? What was I about to say?
Keep going.
It was what was I was thinking about it, and I was saying.
Before you.
Oh yeah, the transformation is like, it's really a process where you challenge the beliefs that you've always been taught as fact.
Yeah.
Like, it's really like expanding your horizons to like make your own opinions about the world, and you're forming your own like thought. You're not following off of what you've always been told, so it's kind of giving you the opportunity to question what you've always known, I guess.
That's perfect. What media tells you.
Cool. So I will do my best to get you guys into that space to comment on those topics. So the idea of interacting with people across the state or the U.S. And measuring that impact of what it drives you to go do, and then that the piece you mentioned about transformation of how did that alter your perception. So I'll get to all those points.
Okay.
So what we'll do is
a cute intro. Like,
cute
hi,
intro.
I'm Brianna, this is Peyton. Yep. And she took my job. Not really. I don't want to do that.
I mean, you can actually if we want. So what I'll do, the prompt will be...
Are we supposed to introduce ourselves? Or?
Yeah, we could do it. Man, I really wish he didn't go because he's so good at this. So I guess the prompt will be, I'll just do a voiceover. Like, here we have today 2 students from our CUNA program. Ladies, please introduce yourself. And that'll be,
okay.
Yeah. So here we have today 2 students from our CUNA program. Ladies, could you please introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Brianna Daniel. I'm the outgoing Secretary General.
And I'm Peyton Kidwell, and I'm the incoming Secretary General.
So if you could, please tell the world at large, what is CUNA?
Do you want to tackle it, or do you want me to?
I can try to for a second. CUNA is very complicated, but in essence, it's a gathering of some of the finest youth that our Commonwealth has to offer at a 3-day conference where essentially we take on the persona of an ambassador of another country. We come together to model the United Nations itself and really try to tackle the issues that the world is facing at large, as well as individually in countries that might not be getting the attention that it needs. And we come together and get a lot of student collaboration and refreshing ideas on ways that we're really going to make concrete change in our world at not only the global level, but as small as like our own individual communities.
And not only do we tackle really dense, heavy topics that are really frightening to talk about, but we do really fun things too. So there's a global village where schools build like castles if you're representing Denmark, or huts if you're representing a country in Africa. And then there's an international stage where you can do native dances from that country. And it's just a whole ball of fun, along with all the dense nitty-gritty work.
I would say that we take time to learn about the problems that are afflicting these nations, but at the same time, we get the opportunity to really appreciate the beautiful culture that is individual to each and every one of them. We really, as an ambassador, go in and try to immerse ourselves in the global community.
So tell me, this CUNA thing that we were talking about, what does that stand for?
Kentucky United Nations Assembly. It does, so.
It does.
It does.
I just wanted to make sure we got that in there, but he'll help me post edit. Great. So talking about this program, when students sign on and they attend, do they go in, or what amount of work goes into showing up to something like this?
Yeah. Essentially, we start months in advance. Each individual delegation will assign roles specific to the strengths of each student. So we have proposal authors who are writing proposals that about changes that need to be made at a national and international level, people who are working on, like we said, Global Village and things like that. So preparation is a long time in advance. It's a lot of really hard study work to get really a true, deep understanding of each individual culture, as well as just a lot of practice, a lot of rehearsal, a lot of manpower and a lot of energy goes into it.
Excellent. Hey, oh, you're good. So tell me this: when I'm going to get to your point about the transformation.
Okay.
And the point you were going to make was, forget me.
Nationalism.
Great. What effect does this have on you when you go to a conference like this? What happens?
I'm going to be heading into my 7th year at CUNA, so I would say the biggest change that I've seen was less than gradual, I would say. From my first conference in the 6th grade, I really saw a new definition of nationalism and what it truly is. I'd grown up with this strong sense of patriotism and kind of supremacy, I would almost say, of just being very focused on what I'm familiar with, very focused on American pride and knowing the issues and the stances of my own country. However, when I got there, I realized there's so much more, and nationalism really has so many faces. There's so many things to be proud of, not only for being an American, but for being from any nationality. And there's so many things that we don't understand just because it's really easy to be blinded by that patriotic lens. And I think this invites you to realize as an American citizen, you can have nationalism not only for your country, but for countries across the globe, and realize the beauty that is our global community.
Now, Brianna, I heard that you've had experience meeting with students outside of Kentucky that also are involved in United Nations assemblies. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, model United Nations assemblies in other states, I'm not sure if they parallel to Kentucky as much as I would like for them to, because I talk about how we do Global Village and International Stage and how we do all of these really neat, very culturally pride-centered representations for our Model UN that other states don't do. And I'm like, why? Why aren't you doing that? I really believe in Model United Nations conferences because they've had such an impact on both of us and on thousands of kids. I mean, at our conference, there were 1,500 kids. That's ridiculous. Those are kids that are wanting to represent those countries, wanting to be in Global Village and International Stage, and being immersed in these different cultures. And I don't know, I just don't feel like anybody else cares about Model United Nations. I feel like it's only us.
Yeah, I think definitely that the significance that has, that it really should spread, that it is so significant and important, and just equally as important as like local legislative mock sessions, because it's inviting you to not only care about your community, but care about the community of the world, and really reach out and expand your horizons from just thinking that there's so many things that need to be done at home, but there's so many things that need to be done everywhere. And really, I think that we're very limited by the issues that are presented to us on day-to-day through the news and the media on what we truly see that's happening in the world. We are so blind to so many things that are happening in the world that we can have a hand in helping. And so I think this really, I think that the UN, these assemblies should have so much more emphasis put on them as we do in Kentucky, just because I think that every conference is a challenge and a call to action for every student that attends to not only be a better debater, but a better person, and just realize that there's so much more out there that they need to focus on.
And there are so many states that are fixated on their YIG or their YAG programs that I feel like they don't have any time for their Model United Nations conferences. So if they just, I'm not like trying to slam other states, obviously. This is just like, I mean, I just care so much about Model United Nations that I feel like so much more attention needs to be paid to it. I'm talking to you. I'm serious. Like, our conference is right up there with our YIG conference. They are even in like their importance to the students. And I feel like every MUN conference should be exactly the same. It's the world on a global scale. I mean, it's not just your minute little state. You're talking about the entire globe here. I mean, it blows my mind that people think that that's unimportant. Not necessarily unimportant. I'm going off on tangents, it's fine.
We'll just cut that.
Well, I'm just going to keep
that was good.
chucking.
That was good. All right, I want to make a final point before we join up with the rest of the crew. So this final question. So a student attends CUNA and they walk away from the conference. It's done, they go home. What's different about this person?
I can do that. Okay, I can tell you what was different about me. Walking into my first Kuna conference. I had just come off of KYA a few months prior, and KYA was really neat, but I didn't really find something that really got me going. Nothing like made my stomach drop out of my butt or made me like my heartbeat or grabbed my attention, anything. I didn't have a physical reaction to anything, and I'm a person that really relies on physical reactions when I'm dealing with emotional topics or things that I'm passionate about. But I went to my first Kuna, and I was nuts. I was bouncing off the walls, so hyper. I had no idea where to focus my energy or focus my attention. Nonetheless, I walked away from the experience with an issue that made my stomach drop out of my butt and made my heart beat fast and made all of my emotions rile up. And I mean, I don't know what happened over a couple of years. It just, something clicked when I left that conference, and I went from being this crazy kid that didn't know really what she cared about or if she cared about anything, into someone who was very focused and driven and who wanted to educate herself and learn more and fix the world.
I think, yeah, I definitely agree. I think for me, what I've noticed is that there's this sort of willful ignorance that exists in our modern youth, and Kuna is really, if nothing else, just like someone telling you, like, stop that, like, inform yourself, and it gives you this responsibility is placed on you after you leave, where you realize, like, this is my job. It's not the job for me when I'm an adult. It's not the job for the people that are in charge. Like, this is my job to do what I can to make the world better. And there's no excuse for you to not do it, because your ignorance is gone. Like, you are fully aware of the multitude of problems that we have to deal with. And it's kind of stripping away all of your excuses, I would say, and